Welcome to Van Tate Sports Office, an in-depth look at the world of sports, featuring exclusive interviews with our KRQE News Sports Director, Van Tate, sponsored by Caesars Sportsbook at Route 66 Casino.
This edition of the Sports Office is very special because we have the Brown brothers. Brown versus Brown, huh? That's like right. The Brown versus the Board of Education, almost like that. But Danny Brown and Greg Brown, basketball coaches here in New Mexico, high school basketball coaches, Sandia Matadors, Volcano Vista Hawks, and they just got through earlier this year. They played a state championship, Class 5A championship against one another. Man, what was that like? You know, like you guys grew up together. You got to face your brother in the championship game. Both of you guys, that has to be weird. It had to be weird for Mom too. You know, like I bet she was just like, oh, I just wanted it to be over.
You know, we've done it before. I'm not trying to. We had a game a couple years ago.
I remember.
Yeah. And we've had a lot of games growing up, whereas him and I going against each other. And we've had, when he was at Highland and I was at Manzano, we've had some battles. So it wasn't the game itself. His team versus mine wasn't something we're not accustomed to, used to. The environment was awesome. The fact that now we have our kids on the team, that made it special. And they played such a big role in us getting to that game. And then us, it was surreal because him and I being on the same team and playing for my dad, 30 years ago, in a similar environment was special as well. So, yeah, it was a surreal night for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that what made it more special is the circumstances with the kids, with our kids. Greg and his program going for 4. And setting history, us trying to break history or stop history. A lot of involvement, and I think this game was a little. It's always tough on my mom, but this one was a little easier. The 2 years ago, it was so close to like Papa passing away that it was hard on her. I had to call her Friday night, the night before. She's like, "I'm not going." I said, "Yeah, you are. We'll put you up in the suite up there." And Coach or AJ Bramlett put her up there, but she didn't watch. She was just walking back and forth. And this one she got to watch, and we couldn't ask for a better ending. I could. We could have hit the shot, but you know what I mean? So
and for those people that might not know, when you say Papa Brown, Mike Brown, who's coached plenty of basketball in this state for years, a lot of success at Academy. These two guys were playing for him, and go back to when you go back to those years. I mean, how many was it? Was it 4 in a row then, or 3 in a row, or because you guys kept winning state?
Won 6 in a row total. He was the first 3, and then I was part of 3, 4, 5, and then Papa won 1 more right after us, and then made it to the finals like 3 more years after that.
Yeah, it seemed like so long ago, man. Just talking about it, I felt like just the dust came off of it.
Yeah.
We both had hair, man.
See, I wasn't gonna go there, man. But you know what? Hey, man, that's just like you evolve on a basketball court. You evolved, man. Your hair was doing something different.
Or the seed, man.
Yeah, that's right, man. Hey, that's how I go, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, Danny, you watching your brother Pete. You coming back now? You're gonna stop that 5th beat, right? That's not gonna happen, right? You and Sandia, you guys got this.
We're gonna try. We got a nice little team back, but we lost some really good seniors. It was a special group of seniors, and I feel like, and I know he probably agrees. Like we were the only team that maybe had a chance to even remotely come close to, having a chance at the end, and and it was a good group, and I just unfortunate that it didn't go our way. But basketball gods wanted him to, in his program, to win history, and we always say good things happen to good people, and so it was hard. I know it was hard on him, but he was happy. It was I felt bad. I told him this. I felt bad, for my seniors and all that, but more so because. Like, he felt bad for us. Like, I didn't want him to feel bad for us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, enjoy the moment because it was his son's last year. And, I said that's the most important thing.
That was that little brother. He was like, "Oh man."
Well, like what was hard was, first of all, the game was hard, you know, and him and I talked about this a couple nights ago. Is that just all of that went into the game? We were just talking about certain matchups and certain situations in the game, but when the horn went off as the game ended, my son Houston ran over to Hudson and grabbed him because, you know, Huddy's last year and just picked him up. And then at the same time, Isaiah went to my brother and they hugged for, you know, a different reason, but, you know, with love, of course, which was, you know, and common in both of those hugs. But the thing was, is I'm sitting there watching both of them and they're just such, different feelings, you know, one so proud. And it wasn't just my kids. I mean, it was, you know, Kenyon and all that he's meant to our program and the celebration for him. But when I just saw those two embraces, it was like, man, it was emotional. It was tough for sure.
You know, Slide and the Family Stone made a song that could be the soundtrack to your life, man. Family Affair, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So you guys had that moment, but at the same time, it was almost like sweet and sour, right? Because, I mean, you guys being brothers, of course, you're going to feel good for him. Then you're going to be like, man, that should have been me or whatever, you know, but you understand. But if anybody else is going to win it, your brother, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm happy for him and his kids and my nephews. And I mean, if we're going to lose it, that's who we need to lose it to. You know, we had a good enough team to pull it out. I think.
You guys had it.
And it just was unfortunate, right? Like, so, you know, like I mean, it was just cool to be able to play each other on the final Saturday of the season. That's our goal every year. And that, you know, and we really felt this year, both of us felt like, hey, it could happen, you know, and it certainly did. It worked its way out. Worked it out.
Going into that game, I noticed his attitude was, let's go have fun. Yeah. And our attitude was, we have one more important step to take in our journey. Yeah. And this could be our hardest step. And his was like, we know how hard this game can be or will be, but we're going to go have fun with this, because one of their goals was to, you know, play us one more time and that type of thing. Yeah. So maybe, you know, their kind of go-get-it attitude really helped them in that game, and maybe us trying to hold on a little bit at times seemed like it was, you know, but at the same time, the way to play Sandia, you don't want to chase them up and down the court, because that's to their style. So we wanted to keep them in front and turn it into an execution game.
You giving away company secrets.
That's it, man.
Well, I would say I would say almost everybody knows how we play, right? Like, I mean, it's just I make it no secret. We've been doing this for 2 years.
Just come stop us.
And that's the thing. And we encourage and want people to go do that with us, right? This was probably one of the only teams. Every year, I told him this today, like, I mean, I told his son, Hudson, like, they're the team that's always known how to guard us and always known how to control the tempo and pace. And so it's a chess match, and it's fun coaching against his teams and his players and all of that, because if you're not ready as a team, as a coach, like, it's not going to be pretty. And so, you know, I felt pretty good about our coaching staff and our players, that they were prepared, you know. So,
and I thought this year, Van, like, their team and program, they've always been, you know, top notch, but I thought, like, this year it was
exceptional,
just because, like, we got to play against some really awesome teams this year in California, or in Arizona, that were from California, and then we got to play against some Section 7 teams that were elite, and the coaching was good, the players were tough, and then when we played Sandia, you could kind of sense it throughout the year that this is the one team that can really cause us some problems. And then the way it was coached, the way he coached his team this year and what he got out of them. I mean, everybody knows he's a good coach, But I think he took that step this year as a program and individually as a head coach into that, like, yeah, this guy's really good. I'm not just saying it because he's my brother. I think that the time spent. Thanks, buddy. You're welcome. The time spent with his players, developing them, and then the fact that they played hard, and then they had this belief about them that, you know, I know this is Volcano, but we can beat them. And, you know, and it was a real belief, and, you know, we felt that, you know. So I definitely think Sandia this year was they were that team that you know, had the confidence and the belief that they could beat us.
The conversation is just getting started. We have more on the other side. You guys ever thinking about coaching on the college level? Just because the reason I ask is because you're like steamrolling this stuff down here, so.
Well, he is. I'm steamrolling the red trophies, bro. So, you know what I mean?
But still,
if I thought about it a long time ago, right? Mm-hmm. Like, this world of college basketball is way different. And
It is.
But I also know, like, my family's so important to me, and whether it's this era or, you know, 10 years ago, it still takes up quite a bit of time. Mm-hmm. This high school stuff does, but we're able to include our families in all of this, and we're able to be here and stay here. So, you know, and then the other thing is you have to know people, right? Like, because truthfully, like, I don't want to go start at a podunk, like, little town or whatever and have to move my family. Like, so
that
for me.
That just sounds depressing.
Yeah, for me, like, my whole thing was doing what my dad does, right? Like, in you know, this is my way of trying to honor him, like, being able to mold kids and build relationships with them, because at this point in kids' careers, I feel like a majority of them are coachable, and you can build character and integrity, and so that's kind of my thing.
And you know, and I know you mean that because I remember your dad. I remember your dad. As a matter of fact, I remember you guys being around like it was a family affair. You see, I was just. When I was trying to get you guys down here, I was thinking about the academy tournament and how your mom would have the food upstairs, the dad be coaching, you guys be playing, and your whole family was there. You know, it's like, so I know you mean that when you say that, because the college game will take time. You know, like your time with your family is like limited.
Yeah, and you would like the role. We just had a couple really good high school football coaches help at UNM. And you know, with football. And so those are guys that we respect, and you know, and so, but at the same time, like if we're young and we're connected in that at that level, then that's the ladder that you climb. But when you're in high school and that's our lane and we're comfortable there and we do have family, you know, we're definitely comfortable with what we're doing for sure. Yeah.
And as far as you watching all of this change, you guys, the college game and, you know, transfer portal, NIL and all that stuff. So that when you look at college now, possibly coaching in college, it's just like, oh, no, don't want to go there, right?
So talking to, you know, one of the coaches and that, you know, people were recruiting Kenyon and just talking to him recently, the communications that they have now with college players, they're communicating more with college players' agents. And the first kind of conversation that they talk about in recruiting players is money. And the agents come in with a number and the coaches have a number and they have to talk. I mean, for that to be the first, you know, kind of level of conversation. Yeah, it's tough. And can there be like contracts in the NCAAs now where, hey, you guys, you have to be with us for 2 years, or because they have that in the NBA, right? They have contracts and they have salary caps and they have, you know, bargaining agreements and all that kind of stuff. I'm not familiar with all of that, but I think right now in the college sports, it just seems so open and it just seems very top heavy where these elite players are getting so much money. And then you have, you know, different programs that don't get NILs at universities, and you wish they would, you know.
And they lose all their guys, the portal,
or girls, and you know, and those types of things. So that's another reason why college sports is tough, is because every year you have a chance. You have to re-recruit your kids.
Yeah.
throughout the year. Amen. And you got, and in high school you do too as well. I mean, that portal attitude is kind of in high school where people, there's certain
transfer.
In Oklahoma, it's the portal. You can go to any school you want, and at any time it seems like. I mean, not during the year, but and so is that coming? You hope not. And so not easy, man. It's not easy on any level, really.
So you're telling me that 5P is going to be harder next year, and you're telling me that no 5P, I got this.
Well, we're gonna try to get in their way for the drive for 5. There you go, bro. Look, there's your drive for 5. We want to put as much pressure on them, talking about 5 as we can.
You coming, man?
Yeah,
I can see it right now.
We'll
you
see.
Little brother's ready to get this done.
We'll see. There's a lot of good teams out there. Obviously, I mean, they're the top of the hill, so we
Come on, man. You
gotta
guys,
earn it.
You two guys are at the top of the hill, man. That's. I'm just. You guys know I call it like I see it. That's all I've seen.
I appreciate it.
Thanks,
you guys.
man.
You guys being at the top of the hill. Like what? So starting with you, what do you got coming back?
I mean, we lose 3. We lose 6 seniors, 3 starters that were big. We have 4 starters this year that averaged between 13 and 15. So we got 2 of them back that are really good, young ones. They're going to be sophomores. And then we got some other guys that have some experience and that are talented that have been waiting. We're going to be small. We're going to be fast. We're going to be quick. We're going to play fast. Like I'm putting it out there, right? And we're going to try to shoot a ton of threes. We're something we're proud of. Like I don't know if anybody else you would be proud of it, or maybe they are, but we broke the state record for threes made in a season this year, and so that's our goal to beat it again. We're going to have to shoot a lot of threes again next year, just because we're smaller, but we can shoot it from deep, and it opens up the floor, and we got some good. Really good skill kids, and we'll see, man. Like, I mean, if they're bought into being, unselfish and celebrating each other and moving that ball and, doing those things like we were this year, then we could have some success, So I like our group.
What about you, man?
So we have 1 starter returning, David Lunn, and then we have
he's very good.
Yes, and he's going to have to take on a bigger role, leadership role, and he's already working on that. And then we have our 6th man coming back, Drayden Montgomery, who's here, and Dre's he'll be coming back from an injury, but is very had a good first half of the year for us, and just a winner, and then Huddy's little brother Hust, will be he'll be the PG of the team, but he'll be doing it his way, and he's learned from HUD, and have some other guys, Luis Gonzalez, who's a gym rat, and he'll be coming up, and have a shooter and a young man named Finn, and another thing is we'll have a couple guys inside that are going to do their best to fill those shoes, but in their way, the shoes of Kenyon, and they don't have to do it Kenyon's way, but we'll have a couple posts in there, Eli Covell and a kid named Caleb Vanderwilt, but you just hope that these guys are going to put their stamp on it. Their identity will be it'll be their way, as and it doesn't have to be as much as what they've seen in the past. They've learned, but we want to put kind of our new wrinkle on things, and so it'll be interesting. It'll be a good challenge for us. Yeah.
Stay with us. More conversation on the other side.
We'll get back to the episode in a moment. Monica Wicki here, host of New Mexico Living. I wanted to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Route 66 Casino and Caesars Sportsbook. If you love sports and like having a little action on the game, Caesars Sportsbook is your go-to destination. For rewards and more info, go to Route66Casino.com. Now back to the episode.
What do you guys think as far as the talent level in the state overall? Has it been going up, or what do you guys see? I mean, because you see this every year. You see all these different teams.
I think kids are, nowadays are way more skilled, right? I think there's some give and take. I think they are really, really skilled, because they all get trainers and they all are doing all that. I do question sometimes how coachable kids are or how tough they are. You know,
it's different now.
There's a lot of enablement. Like, you know, I see it, but, you know, I've been fortunate enough, like at you know, Sandia, to have really good kids and good parents and good support. You know, the only parent I have the problem with is the one that I live with. I coach her son, you know, that's it. Yes. You know, no, I really don't. She gets mad at me when I yell at her son, but I'm like, hey, you know, it is what it is.
Well, you know what? How do you guys, like, I remember watching my son when, you know, my son, was, both of you guys know my son when he's playing basketball, and I'd see some of these parents who, like, they thought their kid was Michael Jordan, and I'd just be like Homer Simpson backing off in the weeds. I just you know, how do you guys deal with that when the parent comes to you? Man, my son was, man, he could have scored 40 tonight, and you're just going like, your son probably couldn't score a basket. But I mean, how do you handle that? You know?
Well, I mean, first of all, like, you hopefully don't have all those conversations during the season, you know, and, you know, you have those conversations prior to the season. I think prior to the season, as many conversations that you can have with parents, the better, even individually.
Be bugging, man. What's going on?
And then understand that we are parents too, and that we can get tunnel vision too. I catch myself at times, you know, locked into my kid. Right. And so I understand, you know, first of all, like understanding the parent part, you know, and that they are super invested in their child. And there's some parents that aren't as invested, right? And you never see them around. So can this be a problem? Yes. Can it be a good problem? It can, because of their investment. And then, you know, it's just the matter of like having that roles communication. Like,
you got to communicate.
Here's your role. Here's our role. Here is your son's role. And here's how we can try to get the best of him, you know, and then talking about trust and those types of things. And so, but like hearing them out, like you know, at the right time, like if it's during the season and, you know, or it's on Twitter and you're just hoping, man, come on, man. Like, you know, you're hoping it's done the right way.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm a little more blunt. Right, like
a lot.
Like one good conversation at the beginning of the year. Like, I mean, and my thing is I certainly, you know, I am transparent and I'm clear with the kids and their role, right? And I like Greg said, I'm a parent too, so like I get both perspectives. But I'm just, you know, my thing is you know, we're running this program. This is our program. We're not always going to be perfect and great and make the best decisions. I always say this to our parents, but I said we are coaching this team, and we're going to do what we feel is best for our program. What's best for our program may not be what's best for your individual kid, but I want you guys to understand this. Like, I know he's the same. Like, I meet with every one of our kids and tell them this is where you're at. This is what your role is. This is what's going to happen. And, you know, so I always tell the parents, I said, they know what their role is, right? So here's the thing. Like, you guys are always, like, parents, we've gotten caught up in it. Like, parents will always talk trash about the coaches. It's just what it is, right? Like, but I always tell them, look, in the stands, just cheer your kids on. In the car, don't say anything about your coaches or teammates, right? Because your kids, you know, they're trying to please us as well, right? And you're pulling them, and they love you, they love us, they love our program, whatever. When you're at home, close the door.
Yes.
When you turn the TV on, right? When it's nighttime and you're having pillow talk, then go ahead, say, you know what, Coach Brown did this. I can't stand that. You know, like that's when to do it, right? Yeah. Because I think that's more appropriate. And like I said, you don't have to agree with everything that we're going to do, right? Like, I'm not going to agree with everything you do at your job or as a parent. You know, like, we're not perfect, but, you know, this is a tough job. And I think it's one of the only jobs that you see, you know, where us as a coach or a teacher or whatever are getting evaluated by 1,000 people every night we're coaching, right?
Most don't know anything about basketball.
And then, like, the biggest thing, the goal is, right, how can we get the most out of this athlete? And if the parent and the coach, if we're talking crap about the parents and the athlete hears that, he's going to be like, wait a minute, like, or if the parent is talking crap about us and the athlete hears
it's a strife.
Yeah, so now we're not going to get the best out of him because there's like, who do I trust? Where do I'm torn? Like, who am I invested in? It feels like this is like a split family type of thing, and it's dysfunctional. But at the same time, what he's talking about, everybody needs to vent. And so, because what's happening is these parents care so much, so they need to vent. So can you close that door? Can you vent? Can you have somebody, we talk to our parents about that. Do you have somebody in your life that you can vent to because you're going to get frustrated with us?
Yeah.
You know, and we're going to get frustrated with your son or you at times, and we need to vent as well. And we'll do it with our door closed as well. Right. But we don't want to do it around our kids because we need them to be bought in and locked in and be the best version, you know. So.
And there's a reason why he won 4 in a row. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a big part of it, right?
But
like
we're gonna solve this, man. Like as we get ready to wrap up here, he wins again. Yeah. We'll have you guys play each other 1-on-1, and we'll put it on TV, man. Have we get a crowd there.
Are you reffing? Call your own fouls?
I'll be reffing, man. I'll be calling. Oh, was that a foul? Wait, I don't see any blood.
Ref it like the NBA in the 1990s.
Yeah, we're going to do it. No, we're going to go more than that. We're going to do it like it's football, man. NFL rules, basketball.
That's how he was. That's how he is. Yeah. If I steal the ball from him, he's coming to tackle me.
First down.
That's right. First down.
Hey, thank you all for coming,
Thanks,
man.
Appreciate
Danny and Greg Brown, 2 great high school basketball coaches around here, Sandia Matadors and Volcano Vista Hogs. Thank you all for being here. Fernando Perez behind the controls. We'll see you all next time.